everybody, this is Nick Amonette, and this is my findings on the topic of student academic perception using an LMS. Now, an LMS is a learning management system. The one that is used for this study is Canvas, and Canvas runs very similar to Desire to Learn that we've used in class. It has discussion threads, it has assignments, tests, etc. And so this study was aimed at seeing how students perceive using the LMS and if it has an impact on their overall academic perception. The method chosen for the study was to provide students with a survey at the beginning of the study, actually continue lessons and teach using the LMS, ensuring that students had a chance to utilize every component of an LMS, from assignments to quizzes to communication to surveys. Everything that was offered in the LMS students were used, and then given a final survey, which is the exact same survey, to see if there was any kind of growth or change in opinions. Also attached to the final survey was an open-ended response questionnaire where students were able to list specific things they learned, they liked, disliked, usage for, etc. All kind of things that could be used using Canvas. Upon analyzing both surveys, I took the positive impacts, what students felt was the most positive, because this was a more telling one involving the change. There is a large change between the first and second survey for discussion threads, as far as being positive. There's a large change between first and second of email and videos. There was not much change between practice quizzes, and there actually was a decrease in tests. This shows that students felt that, for as far as academic purposes, as far as feeling more secure academically, that using discussion threads, practice quizzes, email, videos, files would have more of an impact, so they increase. When analyzing the questionnaire, there were three main themes that came through. One was teacher communication. Students multiple times stated how they appreciated the ability to communicate with teachers outside of class when they're working on assignments. They appreciated that, especially as they got closer to test time, that they were able to send a question to the teacher and get immediate feedback. They also enjoyed, if they're working on an assignment or activity at home and they got confused, they could email a friend or email the teacher and be able to actually get communication and get highlights. Another thing they liked was checking grades. Students, particularly the students in the AP Psychology class, enjoyed the ability to check and forecast grades. They were able to see where they exact stand and judge based on what assignments they turn in, what grades they might receive on assignments, how that will impact their grades. This did help on adding to a little more of the creativity and the overall working on assignments, because an assignment that has a huge impact on grades, the kids put a lot more effort into. The negative thing on this was that when they found out that there was a assignment that had very little impact on grades, the students tended to not spend as much time working on the assignment. The last one was 24/7 learning and preparation of schoolwork. The students enjoyed and said on several occasions that the biggest impact that Canvas has is the ability to be able to see teacher notes, to see previous assignments, to take practice quizzes, all these things to help prepare for schoolwork and continue learning outside of class. One kid commented that they had missed class, and so they enjoyed the fact that they were able to catch up without having to come in after school and meet the teacher or work hard. They were able to sit down, look through the notes, read a couple assignments, and get back on pace. So the kids really enjoyed the ability to continue learning outside the classroom. Three implications came from the study. One was that if teachers use the LMS to meet the needs of students and focus on what the students need, it will have a positive impact on academic success. Students, by evidenced by the survey results and comparing the two, students did see an increase in the use of discussion threads and the use of videos to have a positive impact on their learning. So that was one of the implications that came. The second one was that an LMS can improve communication between students and teachers. It allows for students to have that chance to be able to communicate with teachers. They may be shy in class, they may not want to speak out, and they can still get answers they need, because some students don't have the same comfort level to approach teacher after school or during class, and this allows the student like that a chance to still communicate with teachers without having to do it in public. A couple of kids made comments that they liked to be community teachers outside of class, so they didn't feel burdened during class and didn't feel like it was a bother to them, the teacher. The last implication was that this actually may have a positive impact on the SEL students. There's not official, but by having such an increase with, or such a positive impact of using the practice tests and the notes and all that students felt they had on their achievement, there's a possibility this could work for ESS and ESOL. This will be a future study though. This study had involved no ESS or no ESOL students, so it would be a great place for future studies to take this and apply it to students that have some level of accommodations, ESOL or ESS. Canvas will allow for accommodations through allowing certain kids certain assignments. It will have accommodations through allowing certain kids certain aspects on tests, reading aloud, all that. So that would be a good future study to look at. There were some limitations to the study. The first one was the overall representation of the student body. With only 85 kids, it was a very small representation compared to the whole student population. Another limitation was all students were chosen based on having a specific teacher for class. This did not open the door for more kids. They had to have one teacher to be engaged in this study. Another limitation was the overall timing. The study took place over a few weeks, so there was no longitudinal study. It was just a very quick snapshot. So if a kid missed a couple of days during the study, that may skew some of their information. Another one is it took place in the middle of a grading period, and so some of the kids may have not been used to as much of some of the components of like forecasting grades and assignments, because in the middle of a grading period they weren't there yet. Also, some of it dealt with was due dates in terms of him. A lot of kids had due dates on the assignments were after the research ended, so they didn't feel the need to turn it in as much, and so they were not as engaged in using it as they would be at the end of a grading period. The last one is a study was conducted in only one content area. This skews the data a lot because it shows the use in social studies, but doesn't show how it can be used in math or language arts or science. That's another area for a future study. It'd be good to expand this to multiple content areas to see how it affects math, how it affects fine arts, how it affects language arts. In conclusion, the study was a positive study. There was a positive impact on student perception of academic achievement. Students did indicate that they felt more prepared for the tests. They felt more prepared for the rigors of the course, having used the LMS. And students said they felt more confident. They felt more prepared for the test. So that was a positive impact. This does lead into lower reliability, though. This test could very easily be repeated, and it would need to be for these results to be conclusive and say that using an LMS definitely does have a positive impact. It would need to be repeated in multiple settings. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and thank you for all the feedback.